Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles Sabansi. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things. And now we see them today. We're going to continue to talk about load management. But before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Now, as y'all know, the number one trending topic right now in the NBA is this embarrassment of a basketball spectacle that we saw yesterday with the Dallas Mavericks, when the leadership of that team decided that they were basically going to tank that game, give up on the season, sit their best players, and only play Luka Doncic for 12 minutes and 35 seconds. It was an absolute embarrassment and a sham of an NBA game. And this problem with load management has been a reoccurring theme all throughout this season. I don't know if people within the league are tone deaf or they have no idea of what is going on, but the product that we're watching right now isn't fun to watch. You saw the ratings of the All-Star game. It was an absolute joke. So we can sit up here, twerk it up, try to bend the information and contort it and distort it in any way that we like. But what fans are witnessing, they are not enjoying at all. Yesterday, the Dallas Mavericks, who had a bit of a glimmer to make it into the play-in, decided that they were going to tank that game, and they lost. The game to the Chicago Bulls, 112 to 115. Then we later find out that it was a decision that was made by Mark Cuban himself, and at the end of the game, he was sitting there on the sideline, acting like as if he was sad when they couldn't tie the game. Well, these actions by the Dallas Mavericks prompted Rob Parker from The Odd Couple and from FS1 to absolutely dismantle the Dallas Mavericks and also ask the very pertinent question, which is, if teams are going to continue to do this, then NBA fans deserve to have a refund. So for those of you who missed what Rob Parker had to say, take a listen to what he had to say here in its entirety, and then we'll come back and really give you guys our thoughts. Take a listen to this here.
Adam Silver got to put his foot down. Do you think David Stern would allow this? He's got to get fined. Mark Cuban's got to get fined. I know it won't be anything to him, but this is ridiculous.
100% a disgrace, an NBA disgrace, and I hate to keep bringing up the late David Stern, but we know it. The NBA worked differently, Chris. It worked differently. Adam Silver has been run over, roughshod. What are they doing? Refund everybody's money, Chris. If you're not going to play, give people their money back. Allow me to go to the box office or credit my credit card that I paid for the tickets. I paid $400 for tickets. I want my money back if you're not going to compete. I didn't come here to watch the Harlem Globetrotters in an exhibition. This is NBA basketball. Didn't they go to the conference finals last year, Chris, or am I wrong? So you mean to tell me that you're going to waste Luka and let another year melt by? To just throw the towel in? How? It makes no sense. You might get on a run. Kyrie and it might get hot, Chris. And you know what? Maybe some other team things happen. Somebody might get hurt. You don't even know what could happen. Maybe the guys that they have, they decide to tighten up a little bit on defense and make it work, or they have the most unbelievable offensive explosion, Chris, together that we've ever seen in a postseason run with those two scorers. Yep. You don't know. And instead, you're worried about a pick. You shouldn't have made the damn trade if you're so worried about the pick. You couldn't have worried about it before.
And Rob, you and I have said it. Most lottery picks don't pan out.
How many picks don't pan out? When Danny Ainge is in Utah, you know why, Chris? Because he had 1 million picks in Boston. Stop it with the picks.
Thank you. I mean, Rob, and I'm glad you brought it up. Look, do I think Dallas would win the West? No. But with Kyrie and Luka,
You
who
don't
actually
know.
have played well together offensively, I got a chance every night.
You have a chance, Chris.
And even if they just get to the second round, Rob, that's exciting. Everybody's not going to win it. We will want to see that. They just beat the Kings the other night when the Kings were trying to win. They played the Sixers tough the other night. They played the Warriors tough in a loss. They played the Lakers. They beat the Lakers, who have been beating teams. They played the Grizzlies. I mean, it's.
How about this,
they've
Chris?
been close in a lot of these games. Again, I'm not saying there's some great team, but Rod, you're right. With Kyrie and Luka, you got a shot.
You can't ignore that. And here's the other one. What if they get the Nuggets in the first round, Chris, and that most people have discounted the Nuggets, that they're a weak number 1 seed?
Yep.
What if they beat the Nuggets?
Yep.
Changes the whole playoff picture, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
So you heard what Rob Parker had to say. Here are my thoughts on this. They're crystal clear. To me, I think there's something unethical about all of this. To me, this entire thing seems like one big bait and switch. You see, in the past, teams would rest their players towards the end of the season when those teams usually already have a playoff seed locked up. That's number one. Number two, we got to ask ourselves the question: what was the purpose of the invention of the play-in tournament? What was it created for? What do you think it was created for? It was created for teams that would basically mail it in towards the end of the season because they already knew they were in the playoffs. And therefore, the NBA said, you know what? In order for us to make this product competitive and not make it and not make the regular season a total embarrassment, let's make it that seeds 7, 8, 9, 10 are no longer guaranteed a spot into the play-in, into the playoffs, and even seeds that are within the top 8, but only at the bottom 2, meaning the number 7, the number 8 seed. We're going to make it that these guys don't take their foot off the gas pedal towards the end of the season, because now seeds 9 and 10 can come and take their spots. That's essentially why it was created. It was a way to motivate teams to not tank and basically take their foot off the pedal, and therefore putting out a product that's uncompetitive and asking people to pay and watch that garbage. That's why it was created. This current NBA mindset also manifested itself in the All-Star game, where we watched that debacle of a basketball game. You heard the Denver head coach of the Denver Nuggets say it was the worst basketball game he has ever seen in his life. That came from an NBA level coach. An NBA level coach. Go look at the ratings of that game. And I listened to people in the comments section because we posted about it. I'll share some of my thoughts with you and what I said. I'll give you guys my most recent post on the community section of the channel. I said this, and it was simple. I'm sorry. Player empowerment and team medical staffs are ruining the NBA as a product. Biggest mistake the league made. Ratings are dropping. Fans are sick of it, and Adam Silver sounds tone deaf. As I said before, and I'll say it once more, there's something unethical going on here. Then, of course, you have some people out there that are eternal contrarians who will always pick the other side of an obvious argument. They want to defend this. And I said to these guys, I said, listen. One guy said, well, the NBA is making a lot of money. Ticket sales are. I said, listen to me. Do you honestly believe that a league that markets its game through its stars, do you think that these fans pay money to go to these games to watch the bench players play and watch them lose games? No. Let's think about it on a practical level. If you're a Dallas Maverick fan yesterday and your team is vying to make it into the play-in, you spend that money on a ticket, you spend that money on the gas, you spend that money on parking, you spend that money on food. You go to the game just to see Kyrie Irving is benched and Luka Doncic only played 12 minutes and 35 seconds, and you're going to actually pat yourself on the back and say, well, we made our money tonight, you're unethical. That is unethical behavior. And that is what Rob Parker is referring to. You think these guys go to these games and they don't want to see the best players play? You think Dallas Mavericks fans walked out of that arena yesterday and said, oh, well, I can understand there's always next seat. They would have stayed home. Their games, I've been watching, and I'll turn on and I'll say, okay, let me watch this Clipper game, and I'll find out Kawhi Leonard's not playing. I'm not watching. The NBA markets its game through its stars. It's a star-driven league. Unlike the NFL, where you're not even allowed to show players' faces. So to hear people argue against their own interests is absolutely it's sad. It's sad. This is an embarrassment. It's an embarrassment. There's no two ways to say it. It's an embarrassment. Some people say, oh, well, you can't hold the players culpable. Why can't you? Why can't you? Let's think about this logically. What's the issue here? Let's think about it. Let's do the mental gymnastics on this. The issue is simply this. Medical staffs are saying that we want to make sure we put every precautionary measure in place to ensure the health and safety of our players. Fantastic. That means one will be able to ascertain that the more games a player plays, the likelihood of them getting injured would go up because there are more opportunities to get injured. Correct? Correct. Even though players are playing as many games in the past and they weren't getting as injured as much. But we'll follow that train of thought. So they said, okay, you know what we'll do? We'll make players sit games when they're perfectly healthy, aka load manage. They'll miss those games in order to protect them from maybe aggravating something or possibly injuring themselves. Then one person stood up in the audience and said, but wait a minute, because some people said the players should not be held culpable for this. And obviously the players union represents the players good. So one person said, but wait a minute. If you guys are concerned about the safety of the players and the players themselves are concerned about the safety of themselves, then why don't we reduce the number of games to ensure that you play more games to take the load off of your body? And therefore we found a happy medium. But of course that will not work. Why? Because if you reduce the games, you reduce the revenue. And the players will never go for that. So hold up. Hold up. You're telling me that you want to get paid for 82 games, but not play those 82 games, knowing good and well that 40% of the revenue the NBA makes comes from ticket sales. So basically fans should patronize a product and basically give you money and you don't have to show up and earn it? How is that ethical? How is that ethical? Where else could you apply this same logic and it works? Where else? Where else? Where else? Hey, I'm going to hire you for a 9 to 5. You're going to be working 45 hours a week. Fantastic. And the guy says, yeah, you can hire me for that rate, but I'm only going to show up 4 days a week. But I still want the 45 hours comp. And I'm going to look at you. If you don't get the hell out of my face, I'm knocking your teeth out. If you think you're going to steal money from me. So obviously the players are part of this. Because if they themselves were worried about their health and safety, they'll say, hey, let's just lower the games. So it's all about money. But the question is, whose money? Whose money? Whose money? It's the money of the fans. I don't know if some fans are confused about how this works. The NBA has two major legs that generates the majority of its revenue. I'll explain it, and it's very simple. Ticket sales, TV deals. Then you have all the other things. paraphernalia, etc. The NBA wants to sign a $75 billion TV deal. That's what they're looking to offer it for. So let me ask you guys a question. Who do you think is meant to watch those games? Is it crickets or frogs? Is that who's supposed to watch these games? You ever had your TV on and you came home and you saw the frogs and the crickets outside watching an NBA game? Or is it human beings? People are meant to watch the game. So they make their money off of the advertising. Why? Because advertisers know people are watching. This is not complicated. So for people out there to suggest otherwise, it shows me that you're confused about the entire conversation overall. Your understanding of this particular matter is flawed or limited. It's an issue. And to me, I think it's an issue of ethics. In my personal view, I could be wrong, but I think it's an issue of ethics. Because I can guarantee you a lot of those teams, those guys are not paying money to go watch their teams lose and the star players sit out. Maybe I could be wrong. Maybe there are people out there that get a kick in doing that. Hey, man, let me just spend $100 and $220 tonight. Me and my girlfriend or whoever, me and my wife and the kids will spend $500 to go see this game and then watch, and then I get to watch Luka Doncic in his Friday's best. Is he playing? Nah, but we here. I got $500 to cough up. It's a joke. And I think Rob Parker brings up an important point. These are my thoughts. Whatever you guys think, leave your thoughts in the comment section. We catch you on the next episode.